In our series, A More Perfect Union, we aim to show that what unites us as Americans is really far greater than what divides us. So this morning, we're focusing on the homes where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once dreamed of a brighter future and the man who helped further his vision. CBS This Morning, Saturday, co-host Michelle Miller is at the Atlanta house where the civil rights icon was born. Michelle, good morning.
Good morning. More than 700,000 people come here every single year to visit the home where the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was born. This was his living room. That's a picture of his grandparents. Now, the National Parks Foundation purchased this home for $1.9 million late last year, thanks to an anonymous donor who's not so anonymous anymore.
Welcome to the King birth home.
The descendants of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. have held down this homestead for generations. All the children were born in here?
All the children.
Now they're entrusting the birthplace of the civil rights icon to the National Park Service.
This is Mr. Robert Frederick Smith.
Thanks to the once anonymous donor, Robert F. Smith. This is almost a full circle moment for you.
My mother took me to the March in Washington. I was 9 months old. Of course, I don't remember any of it, but I remember the everyday of our growing up and the lessons that her and my father, brought into the home.
He first toured the King home a few months ago.
I'll tell you what struck me was actually the dining room table, the dynamic of family together. And that's a chance where the families can interact and engage, talk about the topics that are relevant to us as people.
The ethic of love, he really got that here.
We were lucky enough to experience a rare multi-generational family reunion in that very same room, albeit with museum prop cuisine. Everybody sat at dinner every night?
Everybody came to dinner at the same time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Why? I mean, I guess it was a tradition. This was an opportunity for my father, her mother, Naomi's husband, to be able to talk as children and even ask questions. And that was just unheard of at that time.
The house purchase was made through contributions from the Fund 2 Foundation, which Smith founded. The organization has donated more than $40 million to preserve African American culture through the national parks, which includes buying the homes of Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman, and Booker T. Washington. Smith also personally gifted $20 million to the National Museum of African American History and Culture in Washington, D.C. Sounds like, Mr. Smith, you're on a mission.
I am. I truly am. I think a big part of that mission is to educate the world as to what African Americans have contributed in America and educate Americans as to what our contributions have led to and so many great things that make America the unique place it is on the planet.
The Park Service will not only preserve two of King's former Atlanta homes, it will record and share family memories, including contributions from everyone at this table.
We've been through a lot.
Here's a preview. What don't people know about Dr. King that they should?
This is one thing I tell young people. Dr. King was a C student at Morehouse. Really? He got a C in public speaking. He got a C in preaching at Crozier. It tells you that you don't allow grades and people's judgments even to define who you are and what you're going to contribute to this world. And he just continued to push forward and did not let it discourage him.
This is a demonstration of progress that is definitely being made.
He really was not puffed up, right? He wasn't socially awkward, right? He was unpretentious, honest, and plain.
I think that they will, and the family will find a wonderful, opportunity as we finish what I call the digitization efforts to experience their life.
Though the King family agree handing over their ancestral home was the right thing to do, actually doing it wasn't an easy decision.
It took me a minute, because we were raised to understand ownership. I was. So I had to get in my head, wait a minute, this is not how we need to expend our energy. Because I was initially like, no, I don't want to sell my mother's home.
When you think about what Mr. Robert Smith has done, what does that mean to you in putting your old family home back together?
To me, it means it won't be lost. I mean, the tangible property is important and will always be important. But it's also important that more and more people know the true stories.
And Dr. King's daughter, Bernice, told me she's already gone through all of her personal effects. Those will be digitized, downloaded into a database so that people from anywhere in the world can have their very own 3D experience. Bianna?
Wow, Michelle, that was like a history lesson.
It
You learned
was.
so much about
Yes.
Dr. King. First of all, he was a C student.
I'm very surprised at that. Imagine it gives a lot of people hope who are sitting out there. Nobody wants to get C's when you can get B's or A's, but it does show you that your grades quite often don't define the intelligence that you have. And thank you to Robert Smith. What a wonderful thing that he's doing.
Highlighting the importance of dinner conversations.
Exactly. Together at the table.
Exactly. Morning and night, right?
Yes.